I'm in Greenland. Donald Trump wants to take it over. It's the biggest island on Earth, about 9 times bigger than Britain, but it has a population of just 60,000, 20,000 of which are here in Nuuk, the capital. Everything about this place is ridiculously expensive because it all needs to be imported, and most of the island is a giant ice sheet, and that ice sheet is slowly melting, and that could be why the Americans want to get their hands on it, because there's precious minerals and goodies lying under that ice. I've had a great couple of days bouncing around on boats and drinking their beer, but it's been bloody expensive. Hopefully you'll come along for the ride, so let's start this journey back at the beginning, back at the airport. It's 4 AM, we're at Heathrow Airport. Are you excited to be here? No, me neither, but I'm sure our enthusiasm for this trip will rise quickly as we make our way through the airport process. We've cleared security with no issues. As always at Heathrow, the trick is to stay away from anyone who's wearing a neck pillow. If you avoid them and get in another queue, then you will move quickly. Now, if you're sensing I'm a little bit nervous, then I kind of am. I'm a bit edgy. Basically, to Greenland, there aren't masses of flights coming and going from the island. You can basically get there through Denmark or through Iceland. We're going out through Denmark and we're coming back through Iceland. I'll talk about all of that in a bit. But we've got to go to Copenhagen, and then we change in Copenhagen to get the plane to Greenland. But we only have a 1 hour layover, and in short, if a layover is ever less than about an hour and a half, I get a little bit edgy. We've all pulled in on a plane and there's been a fault opening the door, or a plane's been 20 minutes late taking off. So yeah, an hour and a half, 2 hours, perfect. An hour, all it takes is one little problem, and because there are so few flights to Greenland, this video could quickly become just me staying in a hotel at the airport in Copenhagen for 2 days. Absolutely whisper this, but Heathrow is crazy chilled this morning. Feels like it's all going to go wrong in a second with something, but currently it's nice. The gate has been called and the plane is here waiting. The other reason why we cannot miss this flight from Copenhagen is because not only do flights not go to Greenland that often, they're darn expensive. I will come on to costs when we get there. And we're in Denmark. We've got about 40 minutes till our next flight, which should be absolutely fine for time, providing security plays ball. I'm hoping I don't get taken off into a side room and asked about my childhood or something like that. So, providing security does its bit, we've done ours. See you in a second. To answer your question, yes, I'm bloody hot wearing this jacket because the weather in the UK and in Denmark is quite warm at the moment, but where we're going is sub-zero, so I needed to bring it, and I don't dare put it down anywhere because I will forget it. So just to keep you abreast of where we are, we've flown an hour and a half, kind of in the wrong direction, to Denmark, where we've travelled forward an hour in time on the clock, to now get on a plane and fly 5 hours back in the direction we came from, and a bit more, to travel 3 hours back in time on the clock. Are you with me? Now, you might know Denmark as the land of bacon and Lego, but for the benefit of this journey we're going on, it's also the custodian of Greenland. They look after it, they do a good job, and the Americans want to liberate them of that job, but we'll come on to that. Again, I'm not going to talk on the plane because I don't want anyone thinking I'm a twat, and if the plane comes down on the way there, I might be having to survive with this lot for several weeks on top of a glacier, so I want to get off on the right foot in. And boom, just like that, we're in Greenland. It is a little bit nippy. It's May. Spring has not sprung. But get in here, unbelievable. Air Greenland, A330, all mod cons, amazing stuff. I looked up to see where else I could fly to on Air Greenland. Nowhere. They've got one A330, that's the only plane they've got. They've got some helicopters and little planes for the island, and they literally just come from Denmark to here. But in-flight entertainment, amazing cabin crew, bit of turbulence over Iceland, or terrible turbulence over Iceland. I thought the pilot had got into a dogfight, but that aside, brilliant flight. Apparently there is a bus that goes into town, but it's freezing and it's not here. So I think I'm going to get a taxi, because it's only about 6 kilometres, and I need to get my cold weather gear on. Plus I've been up about 11 hours and it's only 12:30 in the afternoon, and we've got a lot to do.
I
think it's going to get crowded during when the airport really opens.
Yeah, I'm going back on a little plane. I'm going back on Air Iceland, the little plane. Well, that was nice and easy. The taxi was about £13, so a bit of a flamboyant expense. But I'm cold and I want to get into the room. Okay, the easiest way to describe what I'm about to show you is it's a hotel room. I paid £120 for it. Let me spin you round. They didn't lie to me. They said you're getting a hotel room, and it is, which is fine. They've gone out of their way not to put a double bed in here, but again, that's up to them. It's their hotel. The bathroom is, you know, it's fine. It's better than a prisoner would get. So yeah, that's good. There is also a hot tub out here, which I'm not sure whether it's available for guests to use or not, or if it's on. But surprisingly, I didn't bring my swimming stuff. And that big boat over there, if I can zoom you in, that one there, the taxi driver was telling me that's a $100 million private yacht that is here with helicopters coming and going and everything like that. So if we can walk around there, we will, but there's also a Danish naval ship on the other side, so maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, 120 quid. It's fine. It's a seller's market when it comes to hotels in Nuuk, so it's warm and I've got somewhere to rest my weary head, and my God, is my head weary. Right, let's take a seat in the cup chair and I'll tell you the rather intense schedule for the next couple of days, because it's hilarious. It's currently 1:30 p.m. local time. Don't worry though, it doesn't get dark till 11 p.m. tonight, and I'm already exhausted. So we'll go out, we'll see what there is to see, we'll have an evening out, then we'll come back to this exquisite hotel room where I will get a great night's sleep. I'm sure you can do whatever you want while I'm sleeping. And then what makes it really funny is get up in the morning, check out. We've got a boat trip booked for tomorrow. We've got to have a look at anything we don't see this afternoon. And I've got all day tomorrow here. And then my flight back is at 1:15 in the morning tomorrow night. Does that make any sense at all? And we're not going back on the posh plane either. We're getting an Iceland Air little plane, you know, little props, the sort of thing that Indiana Jones would have a fight on the roof of. Yeah. It's going to be a long couple of days. So it's basically like 3.5 days with one sleep in that beautiful bed over there to break it up. Hopefully you'll stick around. Hit subscribe if you haven't already. Drop a comment, hit the thumbs up button, bell icon. You know what to do, all that admin on YouTube. I'm going to put some warmer clothes on because I'm only in jeans at the moment, and I won't lie, they ain't cutting it out there. No, that's all good, thank you. £10.50. £10.50. Now I've dressed for the weather, I'm feeling much better. The cost of flights to get here, well, Greenland isn't a cheap place to come. You either go through Copenhagen or you go through Iceland, and it's basically the cost of getting to one of those two places plus another £500 return, roughly. Obviously it depends when you book. You might get it much cheaper than that, you might end up paying a lot more than that, but everything I was looking at, so yeah, it's not a cheap place to come. And also my hotel, which has not stolen my hearts and minds, was £120, as I will keep saying. I've got one pillow, I had a shower, I was drying myself, I thought I'd grabbed the hand towel by mistake. Nope, it was the proper towel. Maybe I've just become a bit of a diva in my old age. I've just walked down the end of the dock. There's no security here at all, which is a bit weird when I spin you round in a second, because I wanted to show you this on one side of me. This is the $100 million private yacht that the taxi driver was telling me about. It goes out in ice and all sorts. I'm being a little bit cautious filming it because I was at Monaco Yacht Week for a video last year, and some of the crews got a little bit edgy about me filming the boats, and although legally I could, sort of the owners of this type of boat are not someone I want to start having sort of letters exchanged with their legal teams about a stupid little video on the internet, so I'll watch from afar. And then the other thing we've got, this is a Danish naval vessel, which I apparently can just walk straight up to, but again, in the UK we're not really supposed to sort of film sort of military installations or boats that close up. This is here, I'm guessing, so they've got an excuse when the Americans say, can't we put a naval vessel in your harbour to protect it? And the Danish can say, no, don't worry, we've got it sorted. We've got one of these bad boys sitting here. I don't know what craft it is or what it's capable of. Maybe someone in the comments can enlighten us all. But I'm sure, like most modern naval vessels, it's quite boring to look at, but underneath it is a load of missiles which are immensely capable, and a radar system that can sort of see a seagull from, you know, 700 miles away. Anyway, let's get off the docks, because I do think I'm pushing my luck being down here, even though no one seems to care. I feel like I could commandeer a £100 million private yacht or a Danish naval vessel without anyone minding. We won't do it, although it would help the algorithm on this video. You could be watching this any time of year, but I'm here in May and it's bloody nippy, about -2, apart from when the wind gusts in off the sea, then it's minus a lot. America, if you want to come and take this place over, then you're going to have another Alaska on your hands. Talking of which, that's the US consulate behind me, which is probably one of the least impressive US consulates on the whole planet. Now, eagle-eyed viewers will notice I've got my hat on. That's because as the wind comes in off the sea, oh, it cuts right through you. I'm not complaining, I like it. It really wakes me up. Fans of the shorter videos know that I've been to the Arctic a couple of times, and oh yeah, give me the cold over the heat any day. There's a hotel here called Aurora, which looks infinitely better than my hotel. Having said that, burrowing a hole into the snow, getting into it and hoping I survive the night seems infinitely better than my hotel at the moment. But we are where we are, as I said in the room. Right, let's get into the city centre and get this party started. I haven't seen any business or shop or restaurant or chain of anything that I've heard of. In fact, there's not a lot going on. You can buy booze, or if you want to get a Subaru, you'll be well catered for. Or if you want to get the outboard on the back of your boat repaired, there's plenty of people who will do that. But if you want a burger and fries, not a lot doing so far. But let's get into where it's at. So this is Nuuk. We're staying sort of down here, and now we're sort of over here in the centre, in the hub of it all. The hustle and bustle, the chaos. There is a bar there that I was about to walk into, but it seems to be locals that are in there, and they also seem incredibly worse for wear. Should we go in? I think I just paid £6 for a small can of Carlsberg. I also think they just did me, although they were very friendly in there, but all of the locals were absolutely hammered, and I don't mean like a bit buzzed, I mean hammered, and I sort of don't want to stereotype any of them too much, but they didn't strike me as the sort of people who could afford to get that drunk on £6 cans of Carlsberg. So yeah, I'm sure I just had the tourist tax put on me there. So we're now in the main shopping centre bit, and in the highly unlikely event you watch my short form videos on other platforms, you'll know that I've been to Longyearbyen in Svalbard, the most northerly town on the planet, and it is way more substantial than that. That Longyearbyen, God love it, you can walk up and down it in about 4 or 5 minutes, which gave me quite a shock when I showed up there to make a video and was staying there for 3 days and filmed the whole thing in an hour. Here, there's way more going on. There's an art gallery over there, there's multiple supermarkets, there's clothes shops, a police station. Yeah, it's a proper town. I mean, I know it's a city. Behind me is the Nuuk Cultural Centre, which I think is a theatre and sort of arts hub thing for the whole community, but it's next door to a gun store, so maybe they will get on well with the Americans. It's really cold now. If you live in Alabama and President Trump says he can get you a job in a boatyard here, then you might want to think it through before relocating your family. You definitely need to go out and buy some new clothing. £6.50, and it's an IPA, and it's good, and you might be able to hear English accents in the background, and the Champions League is on the telly. Everything is covered up Phil. I am absolutely starving though. I'm really hungry now. Well, that was a proper pub. You can't pretend it's anything else. £6.50 for a pint of IPA as well. Proper pub prices. I think I've just paid about 24 quid for a takeout burger and fries and some chili cheese pies. It's Five Guys prices. Well, I don't think they're going to be troubling the World Burger of the Year awards, but it was fine. It did a job. Yes, it was expensive, but I'm learning very quickly things here are just expensive from the minute you book the flight to the moment you start eating and drinking. Well, this is absolutely stunning. It's about 10 o'clock and it will still be light for another hour now, which really greets me with a problem because everything is shut apart from the pub. How can we wrap today up? We've had a couple of beers. Let's end it as friends. Let's talk about why the American government wants Greenland to be part of the US. And I mean this with friendship and love. I'm not attacking anyone or going after anyone. It is strategically important. As the sea ice melts each year, there are shipping channels through here, but Greenland and Denmark are part of NATO. The US already has an air force base on Greenland. I'm sure they could increase their military presence if they wanted to by simply asking the Danish. No, speaking to lots of locals and lots of Danish people who work here in the pubs tonight, probably 4 or 5, 6 people, they're all aware of what the game is. As the ice melts in the middle of the island, the glaciers and all of that, it means that you've then got access to the rare earth minerals underneath them, and rare earth minerals are the new oil. Okay, I'm calling it for the night. The snow is coming down, it's getting dark. I've been up for 21 hours. Tomorrow, I think I've got to be up for 32 hours with the journey home. And you and me have got a ton to do. We've got to hit Nuuk harder than Donald Trump wants to. So I'll see you in the morning, which for me is a few hours away, but for you is now. And boom, it's the morning. The snow is coming down and we need to rattle through Nuuk like a presidential motorcade, because we've got about 12 and a half hours till our flight and about 4.5 hours until we go out on the boat, where I'm desperately hoping, praying even, that we see a whale or a walrus or something remotely interesting to give some visual stimulation to this video. Thank you, cheers, thank you. Okay, this is absolutely wild. 47 Danish kroner for a can of Coke. That's about £5.50. I think that's about $7 or $8. Yeah. You're talking £4 for a Mars bar. Jeepers creepers. Well, at least on the plus side, I now know that I didn't get rinsed in that little pub last night for a can of Carlsberg. I actually got it at quite a good rate. This is bloody treacherous. Some of the cars were even struggling for traction, and you would have thought they would have got used to snow by now. I am going to go down hard in a minute. It's just how much I injure myself when I do. This is Nuuk's actual shopping centre, which you can tell because you've got eyes and a brain. There are a lot of little art and craft and souvenir shops dotted around the city, but I'm not going in any of them because of the price of things. I don't want any awkwardness as the owners of the shops jump up with excitement as they see me walk in, and then I end up having to spend £31 on a little cuddly polar bear or something. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not going to go up there. Isn't going to happen. Right, this is what we've been walking down to over here. We are going to take a canoe out on the sea, which I'm looking forward to. Apparently I'm getting given all the gear. There's a bit of sea ice to worry about. We're going to take one of the canoes out. No, I'm only joking. Can you imagine? Goodness me. No, had you? Well, I probably didn't actually. There's the beach there. I'll tell you one interesting thing. The fact that Greenland is covered in this massive ice sheet, so it's a huge island, but virtually all of it is under between 1 mile to 2 miles of ice. If the ice sheet on Greenland melted, it would increase the sea level across the whole planet by 7.5 metres. That's about 25 foot. That's how much ice Greenland has. And it is slowly melting more than it's replenishing each year, and as I've said before, it's those minerals underneath it that the Americans are giving the wink to. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Hello.
Hi.
I just went in to see the Inuit mummies. I'm not going to show them to you. Unlike in Egypt, you are allowed to take photos and film them. But yeah, mummies are pretty haunting, and some of you won't want to see it. And some of you who will want to see it will see them and go, oh God, no, actually, Rich, I hadn't. You can Google the photos if you want to. I never really know what to tell you when I come into a museum because I can't go through everything, otherwise this video would just become sort of a 2-hour marathon of the history of Greenland, but it was about £12 to get into. It's brilliant. If you come to Nuuk, then yeah, give it an hour, hour and a half, but I probably wouldn't go in to see the mummies, otherwise your dreams are going to be haunted for the next few weeks, like mine will be. Well, that was absolutely fascinating. I'm sure Donald Trump Jr. and JD Vance both called in there and learnt all about everything when they visited. One tiny concern I have about going out on the boat in a couple of hours is how chilly it's going to be, because it's pretty darn nippy in the middle of the city. So, oh, I'm rhyming there, I'm a poet and I don't even know. And so when I get out onto the ocean, I really hope that the gear I've got on will suffice. I think there is a little cabin on the boat though, so I might just have to cower in there with the skipper. Hey, this is like being back in the UK. There we go. For anyone who doesn't live in the UK, we're not very good when it snows. We all crash our cars into everything imaginable. The people in the north of England and Scotland do all right with the snow, but in the southeast of England, around London, yeah, all you need is a light dusting of white powder and everybody crashes into everything. Oh, now that's really interesting. I just walked past a very, very basic looking hostel with the price up, and it was about 50 quid a night, 55 quid a night. So all of a sudden, my 120 quid on my, let's be honest, fairly rubbish hotel, which I'll come back to later, it doesn't seem so bad. Greenland's just a bloody expensive place to come and visit. We're at the sports arena, but it's all under ice and snow, and I think in one of these buildings is a skate park, but there's nothing to be seen at all. On the outskirts of town there was a golf course I was going to walk out to, hashtag for the content, but I don't think there's any point at all. I think it would just be sort of a snowy plain. What's the point? Okay, I'm not going to walk any further over in that direction because it's all just residential houses. I've had a look on the map and there's nothing interesting. And yeah, I don't want to go down this hill either, because it will either take all afternoon to slowly edge my way down it, or it will take about 20 seconds as I bounce down it on my arse. So we will just... we'll let all the people over there have their privacy. Over there in the distance is the airport, and actually on the side of the big hill or small mountain over there is the ski lift. There is a ski slope. I mean, it would be a wasted opportunity not to have a ski slope really on the side of one of the hills, but I don't know whether you can see it, but it is over there. Behind me over there is the Nuuk Art Museum, which we're not going to go into. I know you're disappointed, mainly because it will just go straight over the top of our heads, let's be honest. And also, this boat trip is imminent and the temperature is falling fast, so I wouldn't mind sort of thawing my feet out for about 15 minutes in the hotel before freezing them again out on the open seas. I'm now praying to literally any god that will listen that we see something interesting when we're out on the boat, or it will be the most miserable couple of hours. Right, let's go get on this boat. I've just sat in the lounge at the quotation marks hotel for about half an hour to warm up, so I'm going into it fit, ready and raring to go. The hotel itself, I was told if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all, but I've stayed, I think, in 85 hotels over the last 12 months, and this is the worst by a country mile. And I've been to the Arctic Circle twice in the last 12 months, so I know how hotels in this climate normally deal with it. But yeah, it's not for me. To the staff, all of the guests there just seem like a massive inconvenience. Oh, this is nice, isn't it?
Hello. I will just tell you today.
So apparently the £100 million super yacht is Russian. Of course it is.
There was a whale sighted in
The guns that they had up there that they carry aren't like what we have in like the farmers have in the UK. It is a bit fresh.
Oh, yeah,
it is a bit fresh. Oh my god. I am holding on for dear life because although they would, yeah, well, although they'd pull me out of the water very quickly, it would be quite a miserable ride back. 4 minutes apparently if I went in. That's how long I'd have, and it would be, yeah, it would wake me up. That is absolutely beautiful, isn't it? Do you not think that's pretty? I think everyone I'm with is finding it a bit pathetic how amazed I am by what is really quite a small iceberg in the big scheme of things. Thank you very much. Cheers. Cheers. Well, that was absolutely brilliant. I really enjoyed that. It was a couple of hours. Sorry, it was a very small boat and there was sort of 6 of us on there, so I didn't do too much talking to camera because I didn't want to sort of encroach on their enjoyment of the journey. It was about £90. I should have told you that. Roughly about £90. So it wasn't cheap for a couple of hours, but what else are you gonna do to, you know, they sort of, the water taxi company seem to hold the monopoly for getting out on the water here, which is fine. But I did find out something quite exciting about this boat, Ladacha, which is what I thought was the $100 million private yacht, and it kind of is a private yacht, but there's speculation it's actually owned by the Russian government, and it sort of goes sniffing around all sorts of things. Ladacha means, I think, summer house. So yeah, kind of just the people on the boat and a few other people I've spoken to there's speculation that it's more sinister than I first thought. If you are the owner of Ladacha and it's not at all sinister, then I will be happy to give a full redaction on that, and I'm not accusing anyone of anything, but apparently, like I say, some people are more suspicious of it than it just being a very expensive private yacht. I just got washed and changed before I travel for the night because it's going to be a long journey down here in the International Conference Centre the hotel has. They were doing a first aid training course earlier today in here, and I left all my stuff out, and I thought, oh no, it's fine, I've left it sort of by the fire exit at the door, that I just realised someone could come up and just open the door and grab all my bags and everything. And I was going to say to you, Nuuk hasn't been that kind of place at all. No sort of criminality that I've sort of even got a hint of while being here. But then as we came back on the boat earlier, it was so misty I'd given up filming by that point. We went past at the end of the airport, and next to that is a big new prison they've built. Apparently they used to send the criminals from here over to Denmark to be incarcerated there, but the Danish said, nope, there are too many, and they built a new prison here. I wish I could have shown it to you. I forgot at the time. It was so misty and kind of in the distance. You wouldn't have really got the vibe of sort of how haunting it was, really. Yeah, so there you go. If you come to Greenland, there is crime. Apparently a lot of it is to do with addiction and things like that. I saw one car that had slid off earlier in town. And that's the ski slope up there, ski lift going all the way to the top. I'm not going to walk over there to have a look because it's 11:30 at night. Just very quickly, if I can please bother you to hit the subscribe button, hit like and leave a comment. It really helps. Let me know where the coldest place you've ever been is. I want to know the coldest temperature you've ever experienced. For me, it was about -18 in Kiruna in the north of Sweden back in January, and that was plenty cold enough. It really is a great little airport, very modern. I do like it. There was a little bit of panic as I went through security just then, because there's only about sort of 50 of us waiting for this flight. But obviously I'm here kind of doing what I do. So I have a plethora of batteries and microphones and cameras and 2 or 3 phones on me and all sorts of other bits and pieces. And it's sort of, yeah, there was quite a bit of confusion, and I had to go through sort of every bit of technology I had with them, and then they started swiping them to make sure they weren't explosives. But that's fine. I'd rather they did that, especially with the plane we're getting on. I don't want anything counting towards our luck, so I'd rather they sort of go through everyone with a fine-tooth comb, because I'm pretty nervous the plane we're getting on will fall out the sky if someone sneezes. But we will deal with that when it happens. God, it's late. Too late for me, this. And we've got a long journey ahead. The rest of my fellow passengers, and hopefully survivors, are all just sitting down in the duty-free bit. But there is this lovely big departure lounge up here, which you can chill in instead. In fact, they're building an actual lounge as well for business class. There you go, Greenland. Nuuk, a population of 20,000, but this airport is genuinely nicer than about 90% I've been to. I won't name any names. And behold, this is what we are flying over, one of the greatest ice sheets on the entire planet in. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Það sem allir farþegar fara gegnum tollskoðun. Þau ykkar sem...
Dear passengers, welcome to Iceland. The bus will depart shortly.
Well, that was a great jaunt across the North Atlantic, which I'm sure we can all agree is a beautiful ocean to ditch into this time of year and bob around in a life raft with a load of strangers for maybe a night or two waiting for a passing cargo ship to pick us up. We're now in Reykjavik, in Iceland, the balmy Iceland, much warmer than Greenland. And this is me in Iceland. I've got to go back in now. I will be back over here for a video because I remembered on the flight here that I've actually got quite a decent voucher off the Icelandic tourist board from an event I was at a few years ago. So yeah, I better dig that out the drawer and get something booked. Iceland, land of fire and ice, and absolutely chaotic airport security, but we're through it. I've had to come downstairs. There was a hen do in the bar which were blasted. I mean, absolutely gone. And it's not even 6 o'clock in the morning. So God knows where they're going. I'm not having a pop at American tourists who come to Iceland. I'm really not, because they're all being super polite. And a lot of them come here. And they're fine, and they're fun, and some of them are making me laugh. But they are so loud. So loud. I can't fault Icelandair in the slightest. The staff were brilliant, both flights went really, really well, and we didn't end up ditching in the North Atlantic, which is always a good thing, I think. And that's that. Nuuk in Greenland done. Should you go? I think if you're going to Iceland for a few days, then bolt another one on and fly across from Reykjavik, because then you've got the economies of travelling to Iceland. But it's very expensive. There isn't much to do in Nuuk itself. A couple of days, one night, you'll get everything done, unless you're going to do something very exciting, like get helicopters or boats up the coast to the other settlements, or go out skiing on the ice sheet or something. But do your own research and all of that. I'm not getting involved. Will the Americans take it? No. They want it for capitalist reasons and security reasons, and I'm sure the Danes will work with them on that when the time comes, if it needs to come. All that's left for me to say is I'm absolutely shattered. I really am quite teddy tired eyes now, so thank you so much for watching. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, press like, leave a comment, and a lot of the travelling I do for the short form videos is around the UK, and I haven't put any of that on YouTube. If you'd like to see trips and stays within the UK, then let me know in the comments, because I like having you along as company, and yeah, it would be nice to sort of show you around a country I know a little bit more about.